Hey, family, welcome back to another episode of No Filter, No Fence, the Hello Mama series. This is where we get real, raw, and honest about the struggles and triumphs of motherhood. And we do it with no filters, no fences, just an open space for truth and encouragement. Now, if you've been rocking with us since episode 1, you know this space was created to not only affirm moms, but also give a voice from the other side. From the perspective of a husband, a dad, a man who sees you and wants to hold up your arms when they feel heavy. Today we're diving into something that I know a lot of mamas out there are feeling, and this thing goes deep. We got a letter in from my friend Katie, a wife, a mom of 3 from Lexington, Kentucky, and her words hit hard because they are the reality for so many of you listening right now. So we're going to take a minute to slow things down, and we're going to read this letter from Katie, and this is going to serve as our foundation for the show. Our letter from Katie, it reads, Dear No Filter, No Fence, my name is Katie, and I'm writing to you from Lexington, Kentucky. I'm 34 years old, I'm married for 11 years, and the mother of 3 wonderful children, ages 2, 5, and 9. I adore my kids and would do anything for them. But lately, I feel like I'm carrying the weight of raising them almost entirely on my own. My husband works full time, and while I appreciate that his income keeps a roof over our heads, when he's home, it's like he's checked out. The parenting, the housework, the meal planning, the school schedules, it all falls on me. Most days I wake up already tired. I start the morning making breakfast with one arm while holding the toddler on my hip, helping my 5-year-old find his shoes and reminding my 9-year-old for the 5th time to brush her teeth. My days are a blur of snacks, laundry piles, sticky floors, grocery runs, bath times, and trying to keep the peace when the kids are fighting. By the time I collapse into bed, I've given everything to everyone and I have nothing left for myself. Somewhere along the way, my marriage has shifted. I can't remember the last time my husband really looked at me, touched me with affection, or made me feel like he saw me as his wife, instead of just the mother of his children. I know I don't look like I did when we first met. I rarely have time to fix my hair, put on makeup, or even wear clothes without a stain somewhere on them. But it's not because I don't care, it's because I'm exhausted from keeping this whole household running. The loneliness is the hardest part. We live in the same house, but it feels like we're living 2 separate lives. I miss having a partner who notices me, who wants me and helps me to carry the load. Sometimes I wonder if I'm invisible to him, or if this is just the way that marriage is supposed to turn out after having children. I'm writing because I don't want to give up, but I also don't know how much longer I can pour from an empty cup. I need some encouragement, maybe even some hope, to remind me that I still matter, not just as a mom, but as Katie. First off, Katie, you are not invisible. You are not failing, and what you are carrying is the weight of something that so many of us carry. And it starts with the letter G. It's grief. And no person that's in a marriage or in a partnership was ever meant to carry the weight of a family all by themselves. So I want you to know that I hear you when you say that your husband works, and that's fine. But let me pause here to speak to the men who might be listening. Fellas, listen, coming home, sitting down, and clocking out is not partnership. It's not leadership, nor is it love. Yes, the paycheck matters, but so does presence. Our families don't just need us to provide, they need us to participate. And Katie, I also want to acknowledge something that's very important. As I shared earlier, you're dealing with the big G, grief. You're not grieving death, but you're grieving the connection you once had with your husband. The attraction, the partnership, the intimacy. That loss is real. And to be perfectly honest, it hurts. It leaves you second guessing yourself and questioning your worth and running on empty. I know because I experienced it in my own marriage at one point. But let me tell you this. Your worth is not tied to how your husband sees you. It's not about how your body looks after having 3 children or how much you can get done in a day. Your worth is God-given. It's permanent and it's unshakable. And you are still the woman who can light up a room, who carries resilience in her bones and who has nothing to lose, even when you don't feel it for yourself. Now, I want to give you and every mama listening who feels this some practical steps, because these feelings are very heavy. But I don't want any of us to stop there. Everybody who is in this type of pain needs a roadmap. And these are just some practical steps that can help us to unclog that clog that may be present in our marriages or in our relationships with our significant others. And we all know the big C word, right? Number 1 is communication. But the communication that I'm talking about is communication without combat. Instead of waiting until you're boiling over, try writing down what you need from him. And start with the beautiful I statements. Don't beat around the bush. Don't talk in code. Just be very straightforward. An example, I feel alone in the evening when I'm managing bedtime by myself. He needs to feel it. He needs to understand exactly where you are coming from. And you'll continue on by saying things like, I need us to find a better balance. This makes it about your feelings and not an attack. It's a factual statement coming from your heart. The second thing that you can do is reclaiming a little piece of you. You see, you may not have the hours to yourself, but even 10 or 15 minutes of intentional self-time, that really matters. Step outside, catch your breath, take a walk, take a shower with music on. This isn't, just vanity, but sometimes that type of intentionality, it matters. It's about survival. And when you pour back into yourself, you have a fuller cup to give from. Number 3, inviting help without shame. I guarantee you are not the only mama that's dealing with this. Listen here, mama. Asking for help is not weakness, okay? Whether it's telling your husband tonight you're on dinner or asking a friend to take the kids for an hour because you just need some support. At the end of the day, you need support. Don't walk around wearing the badge of burnout, thinking that it's a badge of honor. It's okay to be weak, and it is okay to ask for help. You see, Katie, here's the big picture. You're planting seeds every single day in your children's lives. Seeds of love, seeds of stability, and seeds of strength. And one day they will rise up and they will call you blessed. Even right now, if it feels like nobody else sees you. But here's the other truth. You don't have to wait for one day. Because guess what? You deserve love right now. You deserve partnership right now. You deserve to feel like more than the house manager right now. And listen here, mama. Sometimes the first step towards that is simply saying it out loud, naming the loneliness, naming the need, because when you name it, it loses some of its power. And guess what? When it loses power, it's no longer crushing you in silence. And so that's what today's episode is all about. Today's episode is talking about that loneliness, that silent ache. You see, that loneliness as a mama can sneak in for a few reasons. As Katie stated, it's the long hours of your spouse working, right? The lack of physical attention, and maybe even emotional neglect. Or maybe your friends that you used to hang with, their lives have taken a different path and you don't hang out anymore. Or maybe you used to have a career or a social circle and hobbies that you used to do, but now those days are blurred because they're covered with children's throw up and pampers and laundry and bedtime routines. And so you feel like you've lost a little bit of yourself. And nobody's asking you how you're doing or how you're really doing. Here's the thing. This isn't weakness. This isn't you being ungrateful for your kids. This is you being human. Because if truth be told, connection is a human need, just like air and just like water. See, I remember talking to a friend one time, and she was a mom of three too, ironically. And she told me that, there was something that happened in her life where she started to feel like a background character in her own life story. And man, that thing hit me. Because when I heard her say that, I was wondering what my wife felt like. Because my wife has been a stay-at-home mom for 9 years, taking care of our children, keeping our house in order while I went out and I went to work. And so just like this mom, I didn't even recognize at one point that my wife was really doing everything. Keeping the kids fed, showing up for school events, remembering the dentist appointments. And when she looked in the mirror, she didn't even recognize herself. And so I want to say this from a man's perspective. Let me say this to all of the mamas out there. Sometimes the men in your life don't see the loneliness because we think she's got friends, she's got the kids, she's busy. But let me say this to the fellas. Brothers, busyness is not connection. So if no one's told you lately, mamas, I see you. You matter outside of what you do for everyone else. You see, loneliness can make you doubt your worth. It can make you question your marriage, your friendship, and even your faith. It can make you believe you're not interesting anymore or that nobody wants to hear from you. And I want you to know something. That is a lie. You're not just support staff in everybody else's life. And if you think that, that's dangerous. Because if you believe it long enough, you'll stop reaching out and you'll stop talking and you'll start to shrink. That's why it's so important that we take intentional steps to break that type of isolation. So what do you do when you're feeling lonely but don't know where to start? It's called take a week off. It's called they'll figure it out. It's called I didn't make these kids alone. And I already know most mamas out here are probably thinking he can't do it by himself. Well, you are. And sometimes you have to do something that I love to say. You have to teach a lesson in manner. And that means allowing for our significant others to get in, get dirty, and do what it is that I do without my help. So this is how you break that isolation. Number one intentional connection a week. Whether it be you take time to text, call, or send a voice note to a person to just talk about life. Because you cannot walk around holding that burden and that weight. The second thing you can do is let people in. I know it is typical to try to carry this weight alone. But even if you're in your house and, you have your routine going, it's okay to let people in. It's all right to have company. And no, you don't have to have the house all perfect. It doesn't have to be tidy all the time. Sometimes you have to just be in the moment. Schedule joy. And I know that sounds weird, but you need to put something on your calendar each week that is only for you. Set that time aside just for yourself. Maybe it's your favorite book. Maybe it's your favorite drink. Maybe it's taking yourself out for a dinner by yourself, catching up with a friend, taking a hike. Speak up with your partner. I just told you it's not good to shrink yourself. Speak up. Not in a state of blame, but in honesty. Use those I statements that we talked about. I feel lonely. It's not an attack. It's an invitation to say, I need you to see me. See here, mamas, loneliness doesn't mean you're failing. It means your soul is craving connection. And let me be the first to say this. You deserve it. You're not just the glue that holds everything together. You are a whole person. You're a person with dreams. You're a person with humor. You're a person with intelligence. And yes, you're a person with beauty. And guess what? The world still needs you. If you're listening right now and tears may be slipping down your face because this is your reality, I want you to know that you are not invisible. I see you. God sees you. And even if you feel disconnected, you are still deeply loved. To every mama listening, if you feel like Katie, I see you. I hear you. And you are not crazy for wanting more. Wanting love, wanting help, wanting to feel like a woman again. That doesn't make you selfish. It makes you human. Katie, thank you again for your letter. And to the rest of you, if you got a story, a struggle, or even just a question that you want to speak or ask, please send it to us at nofilternofence@gmail.com. Your name can stay anonymous, but your story could be the one that frees another mama. Remember, you're not alone. We're building this village together. If today's conversation hit home, maybe send this episode to another mama you know who's been a little quieter lately. Sometimes that's the first sign she's feeling it too. Until next time, keep mothering, keep standing, and keep knowing your worth. This has been No Filter, No Fence, the Hello Mama series. I'll see you on the next one.